Good morning, peeps. Still morning? Yes, still morning. Erin Zen Warrior here. How you all doing? Don't forget to like, follow, do all the things. Have some fun clicking on stuff. Share it around. And comment. I love to hear your stories. I love to hear your experiences. I actually love to hear you disagree with me so I can tell you why you're wrong. Forgiveness is the most constructively selfish thing that you can do. I did mean selfish. I didn't mean selfless. Nothing that you do is selfless. I think it's a big misnomer, and it's a big bullshit story people like to tell. Oh, I'm very kind and considerate. It's like, no, you do things because you feel to, through your intuition. That's not about being kind and considerate. That's about being intuitively aligned. It's not about some bizarre construct of moral obligation within society, or you are within the construct and the conditioning of moral obligation within society. And the reason that you're so nice, or the reason that you choose to forgive, can often fall into this category of kind of a toxic posturing kind of quality where you pretend you're the good guy in order to feel valuable within society. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, except for the fact that the ego structure surrounding it is really dangerous. So when I make a decision aligned with what I feel is correct, I'm still doing it for myself. And that doesn't mean it doesn't have knock-on positives. In fact, it totally does. If you are intuitively aligned, every decision you make becomes correct for those that you reverberate around, even though it is going to be the most correct thing for you to do for yourself. And so forgiveness is a really interesting area. And I do not believe that in this lifetime you should ever have to forgive anything. You really don't. And it may not be so easy. You know, some actions that we perceive against us are so powerfully strong, so difficult, that the pressure of thinking you have to forgive because you're going to be the good guy or because you're going to take the moral high ground. Here, all of that stuff is all ego shit, right? Ego souffle that can trap you in a world of denial about the fact that you haven't forgiven and that it's not so easy for you to forgive this. And look, everything here to me is an exploration of the self. Everything here is a selfish journey. Your freedom is through your own selfishness, but there are two main types of selfishness. And the first one is destructive selfishness. Fuck it, I'll just have another drink and worry about it later. Fuck it, I'm just going to eat the whole cake instead of have a couple of mouthfuls because I wanted a couple of mouthfuls, and end up self-flagellating through food because there's some underlying reason for my gluttony, essentially, or my self-medicating is a better way to look at it. And nothing wrong with self-medicating. The question is, how long do you want to do that for? And can you move towards a forgiveness for your process of human flaw? And here's the thing, we live in a world where we think things should be a certain way. And we think this because our society conditions us to it. Now, take it back a few hundred years. What a woman should do was societally conditioned to be different. What a black person should do was societally conditioned to be different. What a white man should do was societally conditioned to be different. And now we're in this time where it's so different again. So who is correct? How do you determine correctness? Do you take the societal conditioning, or do you feel it out for yourself, and do you use your intuition? And do you start to tune in beyond the mental souffle of things and actually into something that feels good intuitively in this moment? And I want to point out that intuition requires an aligned body on a health level as well. And that's one of the reasons I've worked with health and worked with physicality first. And it's one of the reasons that if you read my blurb on my website, which horribly needs updating, but if you read that blurb, it's like alignment is inside and out. It is holistic. It is food. It is meditation. It is movement. It is understanding your mind souffle and the social conditioning around it. And there are a lot of people out there forgiving because they feel they shoulda, coulda, woulda, must. A lot of people doing it because they're trying to take a moral high ground and getting involved in their superiority, inferiority complex. But here's why forgiveness is a beautiful thing. Through the process of forgiving, you set yourself free. You set your energy free. And I can tell you right now, if you are carrying stuff about what people have done to you, about the harm that has come into your life, one, you are deeply misunderstanding the lesson that life is, and that life is about refinement through difficulty. It's not about everything going well, and it's certainly not about everybody treating you well, because actually there's a lot of perception in what is good and what is bad, and maybe your perception is wrong. Maybe they did treat you well just because they said the truth, you know? Or maybe they did treat you well because they revealed themselves to you, and now you get to choose. Do I really want to bother with this person? You know, we're all very quick to take things personally. That's why forgiveness at all needs to exist. You take it personally. To be crass, many rapists don't pick you because of you. They pick you because of them, right? It's got nothing to do with you. And I love to use shocking comparisons like that because it makes a point, right? Makes you really stop and think about it. It's like, did you get abused because of something you did? You could make an argument for that, surely, but there are definitely some situations where maybe there was an energetic field open in you. Sure, maybe we can go there. But ultimately, sometimes it really is karmic wrong place, wrong time, and wrong person right in front of you that ends up beating you in a pub. Or, you know, I've had situations where I've been really jeopardized walking down the street in Camden Town, London. And I was jeopardized because I was observing two people in front of me who are homeless and definitely a bit edgy, like substance abusey bodies about them. And I was just observing them, and they felt that energy, and it had them turn around and pay attention to me. And I got a lot of aggression at me. And really, I just wasn't very careful about where I was poking my projector eyes, right? So whose responsibility is that? I could have used my brain. It certainly tuned my awareness. They didn't mean bad, right? In a sense, they're hyper-focused on survival. Had nothing to do with me per se as an individual. Had to do with where I had put my energy, and it brought energy back to me, and it wasn't energy that I really wanted. And I hadn't considered that that might happen. There's no one really to forgive in that situation, except for maybe myself, if I feel bad about being an idiot. So forgiveness. When I hold resentment, a story, when I hold any of these things about another, and I hold the coulda, woulda, shouldas about what they should have done, about how they could have behaved. Think about your parents and all the things that you say about what they coulda, woulda, shoulda done. Sadly, most people, including abusive parents, are doing their very best in this life. And what they do is not about you. It's about them and their journey. And people will find that hard to swallow. And I know there are some egregious parents out there. And trust me, I've heard some horrific stories. Acid burnt vaginas. Like horrific stories of what parents have done to their children. But I can also see that the parent at the time in their state was trying to save the child from something, or was just trying to calm the situation, or was trying to make it all stop so that they could cope. So you could hold your coulda, woulda, shouldas, or you can look at it differently, and you can wish that person happiness. You can actually spend time focusing on what that person would be like if they were truly happy, truly free in this world. How different might that person be? And see, we like to go to war with each other. We like to fight. We like to be right. We've been taught that. We've been taught competitiveness. We've been taught superiority because it's part of our survival. It makes us valuable. But actually, your true value is in your ability to take a step back from things being personal and see that everyone is struggling and everyone deserves happiness, actually. because it's not about deserving. It's not about worthiness. It's actually what we all came here for, was to experience happiness, experience freedom, and also conversely experience the contrast of those things. And so when you wish for someone's peace, for someone's happiness, for someone's success, for someone's satisfaction, and you do it regularly, and it's the person that you hold the biggest density around, you are going to see that you change, that your life changes. And you are going to realize that the reason that you are doing this is for a much bigger picture in your own life. Forgiveness is not about the other. It is about you. It is about your density and thinking that it was about you in the first place, whatever anybody else did. And by and large, it never is. Now, people talk about narcissists and all that sort of thing. Well, let me tell you, to me, in my observation and my experimentation with narcissism, and I've definitely been down that rabbit hole, narcissism is a clever defense mechanism to someone who is deeply traumatized. And the reason they do what they do is because that is how the entity has learned to survive. And at our very base core, in our animalistic phase, when we are threatened and we feel unsafe, all we do is survive. And we do not think about anyone else in survival, right? The only time we ever see that is a parent and a child being threatened. And usually that's in a physical environment. Many parents hang their children out to dry when they feel threatened energetically and mentally. When their triggers are coming up, they will actually totally drop it on their children, not because they want to, not because they're sacrificing their child for them, but because an animal in survival will bite the very hand that comes to feed it, to rescue it, to do any of that stuff. And that's the thing that we forget when we're out there in the world and someone is coming at us with all their trauma shit just really on the surface, is that anything they do in those moments is not about us. So I said this to my yoga class yesterday, after a client asked me about, she wanted a cathartic class to really go in for healing. If you want to heal, pray for others' forgiveness. Put energy towards others' forgiveness. And I don't mean pray to some God. I mean, bring forward an energetic where you hold them in your mind and you see them in the light and the sun shining and feeling brilliant. And you will also see this has a powerful spread in your world. I've had some incredible results with people that, you know, the brighter you shine in this world, the more people come at you who don't even know you. And they come for your blood sometimes. And not because they mean bad, but because you represent an energetic field that they don't know how to cope with, and they focus in and target it. And it has been amazing how this practice has shifted those relationships to the point where I have had emails years later basically begging for forgiveness, and then with my response, which was understanding at the time because I had observed the person, then dinner invites, like, oh, we should catch up sometime. We should go eat vegan food. You know, like, it's amazing how shit changes when you change your density around how you see someone else. Have a great day. Erin Zen Warrior signing out. Please like, do all the things, and please comment. You are more than welcome to send me your stories privately as well if you don't want to comment publicly. Please don't use the anonymous thing. I hate it. I'm like, if you want to comment publicly, just comment publicly. If you don't, tell me behind the scenes. I totally understand that not every story is for everyone. Have a great day.